My name is Kayode Abubakar, APC Ondo State, Nigeria. I'm a member of the APC Youth Wing and currently a steering committee member of the press and media. Well, this current administration coming on board in 2014 faced a lot of challenges. And one of the key things that Buhari campaigned on was security. I mean, he campaigned on 3 tripod promises. That is to secure the nation, rejuvenate the hailing economy then, and as well, infrastructure. And on the part of infrastructure, I want to say that Buhari administration has did fantastically well. In fact, if not to exaggerate, Buhari's infrastructural development in this country is unmatched since independence. But when you look at the security perspective, the dimension we're facing today, as far as security is concerned in the country, differ from what we had in 2015. When we were coming on board in 2015, we were faced with a very, very, terrible insurgency by Boko Haram. Abuja was being bombed everywhere. We had over 16 local governments in the hands of Boko Haram in Borno State. Part of our territory, in fact, the territorial integrity of Nigeria was compromised at some point when Jonathan was in there. So coming on board, the Buhari administration, ensured that they empower the military by, getting them, weaponries and all sort of things like that to ensure that they have, more capacity to deal with our security challenges. And with that, we were able to curtail the excesses of the insurgency, and through intelligence as well. One of the good things that they did at the beginning of this administration was to deal with Boko Haram by scattering their leadership structure, by creating faction among them through intelligence means. And by creating factionalizing Boko Haram, it reduces their firepower. And through by this, Nigeria was able to reclaim back our territories. So in the first 4 years of the administration, Nigeria was able to deal with Boko Haram technically, and all our territories were, returned back to, the Nigerian state, and the insurgency reduced to the barest minimum. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the second administration, we saw a new dimension of security challenge that came in the form of the herders-farmers clash and the, the unknown gunmen that is happening in the southeast, and as well as the kidnapping, the increase in kidnapping in the country. Of course, these are not new challenges, but they came in a different form, to face this administration. We've had in the past the cases of kidnapping in the Niger Delta region, which was curtailed very well during the Niger Delta plan by President Yar'Adua. Unfortunately, this time around, the kidnapping is not even happening in the Niger Delta, but of course in the northern Nigeria, whereby people were being kidnapped for ransom, and trains were being attacked, and people were being killed arbitrarily, and it's a new dimension, a new wave of terrorism, I will say, that is facing our country, and this has been the biggest challenge the Buhari administration has faced in this second term. I personally believe that the government can do more, especially in intelligence gathering and in synergy among the military structure, the land forces, the air forces, and the naval forces should do more collaboration and do more intelligence gathering, because there can never be a successful insurgency in the country where there are interconnected intelligence service. And this is where we're missing it. How these people are operating freely in the Nigerian territory, making phone calls, calling people for ransom. I mean, this is a digital era. In a country like Ghana, they monitor calls. Easily, you can be tracked easily, your location, everything. So I wonder how these people are making these calls, threatening people, kidnapping people and negotiating for ransom using technology, and we are not able to track them. So I believe that the president, we have the capacity as a country. It's a huge country with huge potential. And I believe that the president should do more in ensuring that our intelligence services are more empowered, strengthened to rejig the intelligence service to be able to curtail the needless wanton killings through kidnapping and this new wave of insecurity challenges that is facing the country today. Yeah, definitely yes. In many ways than one. Of course, the reality in the southeast politically is different from the reality in the northeastern Nigeria. Over times, there's always all this, atmosphere of political, especially in recent times, in this second republic, this republic under Buhari. The southeast has always been unrest because of the agitation for Biafra, and because of the arrest of the IPOP champion, Nnamdi Kanu. So, and with this new wave of unknown gunmen and the unrest in the southeast, definitely is going to cause voter apathy because of over-militarization of the environment, which is going to make a lot of people to not come out for election. In fact, another effect peculiar to the southeast was the issue of burning of all of the campaigns of the IPOB agitators, telling their people not to believe in Nigeria, not to participate in political process, burn them, burn their voters card, and some people were even attacked in Imo and Anambra for going to register at ANEC. It's quite unfortunate anyway. So, and all these things has effect on the electoral process, as well as the Northeast. Even though the original wave of terrorism that we used to know by Boko Haram in the northeastern Nigeria has gone down, drastically. But with the new wave of the herders farmer clash and in some part of Adamawa and then the kidnappings in Samfara, we also definitely affect the electoral process. But I think the more effect is going to be in the southeast because of the IPOP agitators, because it's more deadly because of the unknown gunmen which could not be traced up to now. So, and I believe that the government at the local level, I mean the state level, especially the state government, the local government, they have a lot of work to do. The problem in the southeast is even beyond security. There is a social political disorder in the southeast by way of ill campaign against the Nigerian state by the IPOP agitators who who believe in their own way that the evils have been marginalized by the Nigerian political system, and they now champion their own nation. So I think the federal government has to do more by imbibing in more dialogue, social political dialogue, using integrated mechanism by engaging the traditional rulers. I mean, taking the message to the local level, to preach peace and let these people have some sense of belonging that they also want. This is one country, one people, one Nigeria, and nobody is more Nigerian than the other, and to ensure that they also have the sense of belonging that is required as a Nigerian citizen. Well, yes, number one, the fact that I'm a core ABC member, and of course I support my party is supreme, and I support my candidate, our leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is our presidential candidate for the election. When you look at the three candidates for this election, Atiku Obi and Kwankwaso, I don't want us to override the capacity of the Kano-born politician, Kwankwaso of the NNPP. He's got a very strong followership, especially in Kano and the northwestern Nigeria, northeastern of the country, part of the country. Asiwaju Tinubu, to me, trumps them all in terms of capacity, in terms of track record. It's very, Nigeria is a very big country. It's a big country that requires very strong leadership. And this period, the candidacy of Atiku, for me personally, is morally unacceptable. When you look at the flavors or factors that make the Nigerian nation, as established by the British even from independence, that you cannot override the northern-southern dichotomy. And it's only fair, in the name of fairness, Atiku should not have contested the election because we just had 8 years of a northern presidency. It is only fair that the presidency comes out. So I agree, I align with all the governors that are clamoring that power must return to the south. So even on that basis alone, the election should be between Asiwaju and Peter Obi. Atiku Kwankwaso should not have contested the election. However, we're in a democratic dispensation. Everyone reserves the right to be voted for and to vote, to clamor for vote, and also to vote. So therefore, the clamoring for southern presidency is not constitutional. However, it is in the altar of fairness, equity, equitability, and on the basis of national cohesion and unity. That is why some of us, a lot of Nigerians, majority of Nigerians, are clamoring that the presidency must return south. And when you look at all the candidates, when you put them on the table, Asiwaju Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, when we look at their capacity in managing human resources, capacity in managing state resources, capacity in identifying, talents, capacity in terms of their credibility, in terms of their, their track record, I think Asiwaju Tinubu is number one. Atiku has never held any executive position before. He has always been contesting for president and never won. He was only vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under President Obasanjo, and that was not really that was not a position of authority. In Nigeria, some people used to say, pedestrian way, that the vice president is just like a spare tire. So he has never demonstrated any sort of executive power in the Nigerian equation. So we cannot really tell of his capacity in terms of executive power. Peter Obi has been a governor before. When you compare Peter Obi and Asiwaju together, Anambra of that era and the Lagos of Asiwaju Tinubu and the Peter Obi era in Anambra State, the results are monumental, and the differences are very clear that Asiwaju is ahead in terms of demonstrating capacity in leadership, in managing human resources, even in management of state resources. We can see how we realized how Asiwaju was able to manage the state resources of Lagos by, increasing the internally generated revenue of Lagos State from meager 600 million to over 50 billion today. Not only that, Asiwaju Tinubu also set up a master plan, 25-year master plan, that tells of a leader that has foresight, a leader that thinks about the future, a leader that is transformational, a leader that is progressive in nature. He thinks about the future and laid out the plan, the transformational plan for the Lagos master plan. And we all see Lagos today. Lagos State is number 5 biggest economy in Africa and number 1 in Nigeria. Lagos is the only Nigerian state that can survive outside the federal government allocation, even not the FCT. So what are we talking about? When we look at all this in terms of this, we're talking of leadership here. We're talking of managing resources, huge capability of a big Nigerian state at the largest black nation in the world, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So in this case, we cannot even equate Peter Obi at all. Well, to me, the obedient movement is good for Nigerians, the political atmosphere. Number one, for us as APC, it is strategic to even promote Peter Obi because Atiku Obi contested the last election. They were defeated together with on the platform of the PDP. So this time around, that we have Obi splitting away from Atiku, they are birds of the same feather. Nigerians, you should not be deceived. There's nothing special about Peter Obi. There's nothing different about Peter Obi. Peter Obi remains a member of the establishment of Nigerian fabric, typical Nigerian fabric of our politics. So I don't see anything special in it. So I think it's due to probably due to Atiku's candidacy. That is why Peter Obi is flying at the moment. So I think Peter Obi's candidacy is going to hurt the PDP more than APC. It's good for APC anyway, because for instance, now the southeastern Nigeria is a traditional region or zone for PDP. However, the dynamics has changed in this election. The Peter Obi movement is going to, clear off a lot of PDP votes from the southwest, and it's going to reduce their performance also in the southwest. More so with the sentiment against PDP for fielding a northern candidate at the period when majority of Nigerians are clamoring that power must return to the south. It's only fair. It's only equitable. It's on the altar of equity, on the altar of equitability, on the altar of national unity and cohesion that presidency must return to the south. This is really working against the candidacy of PDP. So for APC, it's not a problem at all. Our candidate is popular. Our party is strong. We have 22 governors as of today. And by election period, we're going to have 21 APC states. Even the state where we lost in APC in Osun State, I was personally in Osun State, and the feeler there was the fact that Adeleke local, Tinubu national. That is the opinion of the people, believing the fact that yes, they are going to vote for PDP locally there in Osun, but they're going to vote for Asiwaju Tinubu for presidency. And one of the things that gave us the confidence that Asiwaju will be the next president is that there is what I call a bipartisan support for his candidacy. In many states of the country, we have several political parties working for the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, even without any direct contact with him. For believing in him, believing in his capacity, believing in his antecedents and track records, they are working for his emergence. So in that regard, obedient movement is it's good for our political environment. However, not a threat for Asiwaju or APC, but rather a threat to PDP and Atiku's electoral fortunes at the election. My message to Nigerian youth, part of you, I'm a Nigerian youth, passionate about the country, highly patriotic. My love for Nigeria is undisputable. I am calling on Nigerian youth to enroll en masse, increase their support for this party without any iota of sentiment, without any iota of tribal jingoism or ethnocentric sentiment or religious bias whatsoever. APC remains the party to beat. As we speak today, APC is the only party that has a functional youth wing officially recognized. The other parties are only having appointed youth officers who are holy errand boys in the political system. However, APC is the only party that has a functional youth wing with a youth structure that allows for youth participation. And as the future of this country, we have been clamoring, we've been fighting for the youth inclusion in governance. And you cannot be included in governance if you don't participate in the political process. On this note, we are pleading with our fellow Nigerian youth to increase their participation, not just on social media, but by getting involved directly in politics. Not just directly getting involved in electioneering, but also getting involved in discourse, to shape the Nigerian agenda. And one of the ways we're doing it as a party is the organization of what they call the Progressive Leaders Summit coming up by weekend, organized by the National Youth Wing of APC, led by our leader, Aswaju Dayo Israel, and the Deputy Youth Leader, Jamaluddin Kabir. So this is one of the ideas that shows that the APC remains the party for Nigerian youth, it remains the party for the future, has plans for Nigerian youth by providing a platform like the Progressive Youth Summit that is holding this weekend, a platform whereby Nigerian youth can get involved in the discourse to shape their future. Because if they say that the youth are the future of this country, then we have to be involved in the discourse leading to setting the agenda for the future of this country. And this is a platform for that. So we're calling on Nigerian youth to participate en masse, even at the summit, irrespective of the party you belong to. You can participate at the summit, and what you see and listen and see at the summit will convince you that APC remains the platform to beat and remains the platform to participate in moving forward in order to get involved in the political process of our country, in order to get involved or participate in the electioneering process of our country, in order to get involved in decision-making process. That is the hallmark of democracy. That is to be included in governance and be involved in policy formulation to decide the direction of this country. That is not possible if you're not on the table of governance. And APC is the only party currently that presents the platform for Nigerian youth to express themselves democratically, to express themselves in terms of policy direction and formulation, to reshape, to redirect the direction, to shape the direction of our country come 2023.